very good afternoon to all my dear children. So in today's science class, we are going to learn ninth lesson, that is interdependence in nature. And you all know that we have stopped and we have completed only half of the lesson, and half of the lesson is there to complete. So do you all remember what is the name of the ninth lesson? Yes, interdependence in nature. What is meant by interdependence? So interdependence means two or more people or animals or birds that depending on each other. So now all those depending on each other, it is happening in nature, right? That is what we are going to see, and we have learnt many things in this lesson. Now I request everyone to take your science book to the page number 44. Page number 44. So, do you remember what is meant by environment? Do you remember what is meant by environment? Yes? Okay. So, environment means the surroundings in which an organism lives. Okay, environment means the surroundings in which an organism lives. Okay. So what are all the things it includes? It includes everything that affects an organism, like the air, the soil, the climate, the plants and the animals, right? So next, so how many components of the environment are there? So what is meant by components? First of all, components means, as I told you already, components means parts. There are two parts of the environment, that is there are two components of the environment. That is, first one is the biotic component and the second one is the abiotic components, which they have given in page number 44, biotic and abiotic. Bios means life. Okay, so biotic means it includes all the living beings. Abiotic means non-living things. Okay, very easy. And you all know that what is meant by producers. Producers means it makes their own food. Then next, consumers. Consumers means using it. The animals what are all the things that using it? Not only for the animals, even for the human beings we use today. If we use anything, so we are consumers, right? Then decompose. Decompose means microorganism and some other organism decompose, or we can say it as it digests waste. Okay, that is why they are called decomposers. Then we saw in page number 45 about plants and animals, right? Plants and animals, for example, I told you all those food chain. Grasshoppers eat plants and mice eat grasshoppers. The picture they have given already. And then owls eat mice, right? Then next, and animals also helps plants to disperse the seeds, we saw through what to say, through scattering the seeds, like passing out the stool, right? Now next, in page number 46 we saw animal relations. In page number 46 we saw animal relations, right? And then plant relations, then decomposers. Do you remember example for animal relations? Like what to say, egret birds. Okay, egret birds, it will just what to say, it will just feed on the insects that bother the cattle, right? Then, and crocodiles have leeches on its gum. So what happens? The plover birds, it will just clean up all the leeches from the crocodile's teeth. Then plant relation example, climbers used to twine on the other tall plants to climb up, but it will not harm the plant or trees. Okay, then decomposers, as I told you that saprophytic bacteria or fungi, they get their food from the plant and animal waste, and in their turn, they will just digest the waste and decompose it or break it down to the minerals and gases. So what happens, all those minerals and gases, it will mix up with the soil and it makes the soil fertile, right? Next we are going to see the living and non-living in page number 47. The living and non-living in page number 47. So everyone can take page number 47, the living and non-living. So first paragraph, first line, living beings depend on the non-living things around them. Yes, of course. So as we are all living beings, we used to depend on non-living things, right? Yes, normally we use chair, bed, all those are non-living things, right? Next, first point, all living beings need air. Yes, of course, all living beings need air. Without air we cannot, right? We cannot live. Even plants and animals need oxygen for respiration, and plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. As we learnt already in the previous lesson about photosynthesis, right? Plants need carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. Then terrestrial. Terrestrial means it is related to land. Okay. Terrestrial organisms get the gases they need from air. Aquatic organisms make use of the gases mixed in water. See, lion, tiger, monkey, elephant, all these are terrestrial animals because these animals live on the land. So these animals, they need gases which is flowing around from the air. Okay, they will take up. But what about aquatic organism? They will take the gases mixed in water. Okay, next, second point. No organism can live without water. Of course, no organism. Aquatic organisms would die very soon if you took them out of water. Even terrestrial organisms cannot survive for long without water. See, aquatic means it is related to water. It is, right? So aquatic organisms like fish, if you just take out from the water, what will happen? The fish will die, right? So even terrestrial organisms cannot live without water for a long time. Then point 3, light is another very important condition for life. Many animals are active only in daylight. Plants need light to make food. Yes, light is another very important. Light plays a very vital role in our life, right? So even for animals also, many animals, they'll be very active in the daytime. Even plants need light. How the plants get light? From the sun. All organisms need a certain amount warmth for survival. They can neither survive when it is too cold nor when it is too warm. See, all organisms, not only human being, all the organisms means living beings, right? All organisms need a certain amount of warmth, sood, okay, certain amount of warmth for survival. They can neither survive when it is too cold nor when it is too warm, right? Then fifth point, plants absorb water and minerals from the soil. There would be no plants without soil, nor would there be any animals, because animals depend on plants for food. See, we have seen plants in today's class. In previous class also I showed you through the video the plants and all, how it is growing, right? See what happens now, without sand, without soil, the plants will not grow, because all minerals, vitamins for the plants, everything, it is there in the soil only. So nor would there be any animals, because animals depend on plants, right? Next, balance in nature. How the nature is balancing equally. See, all the things that make up the environment are not just dependent on each other. They are linked together in a way that maintains a perfect balance. Without this balance, the environment would get destroyed. Let us see how nature maintains a balance. Very, very important thing. See, all the things that make up the environment are not just depending on each other. They are linked to one another to to maintain a perfect balance in the environment. Okay, without this balance, what happens though? The environment would get destroyed. So we are going to see the examples for this. First, balances of gas. See, all living beings use oxygen and throughout carbon dioxide. If this process continued forever without something to balance it, the air would soon have too much carbon dioxide and too little oxygen. So so what here they are telling, all the living beings, they use oxygen and they throw out the carbon dioxide. So this process, if continued forever without something to balance it, what happened? No, the air would soon have too much carbon dioxide and very little amount of oxygen. So photosynthesis is the process that maintains the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. A plant uses up carbon dioxide and produce oxygen during photosynthesis. So what here they are telling, photosynthesis is the process. That is the process that maintains the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. So this line is very important. So you can underline this line. Photosynthesis is the process that maintains the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Even in your examination, you may get a question like, dash is the process that maintains the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. Very easy, very simple, that photosynthesis is the correct answer. And then next, plants use up carbon dioxide and produce oxygen during photosynthesis. So plants, they will produce oxygen when what process is going? When photosynthesis process is going, plants, they produce oxygen and they will use up carbon dioxide. See, as I told you that this diagram is very important, that is, the respiration and photosynthesis maintain the balances of gases in air. See, here carbon dioxide, right? Oxygen or carbon dioxide. Plants, they will take in the carbon dioxide and they will give out the oxygen. During which process? Photosynthesis. Now here this side, animals, they will take in the oxygen and they will give out the carbon dioxide during respiration. Okay children. Now turn to the page 48. Now in page number 48. Balance between organisms. Organisms means living beings. Okay. You may think that herbivores harm plants or that carnivores harm herbivores. But this is not true if you think of the balance in the environment. If, for example, no carnivores ate rabbits in a particular region, rabbits would multiply very fast. They would eat up all the grass and there would be none left for them or other herbivores. Okay. See, when we are seeing Discovery channels, we might have seen Discovery channels like, see, animals like carnivores, they will chase the herbivores and they will eat up. So that time what we used to feel? We used to feel pity on them. See how this tiger is eating this deer like that, right? But it is not true. See, if what happens if the carnivore didn't eat the herbivore, for example, rabbit is a herbivore, okay, if the carnivore didn't eat the herbivore like rabbits, it will multiply in a particular region, like it will become large amount, and what happens, it will eat up all the grass and none will be there, nothing will be there. Okay, so they would eat up all the grass and there would be none left for them or other herbivores. So besides, the roots of grass hold the soil together. So what happens? this soil, the soil, it will hold the roots of grass very tightly. And if rabbits ate up all the grass, then what happens? The soil would get washed away by the rain. Soon the whole area would become barren, that is infertile. This is why every organism has its enemies in nature. These natural enemies do not let the organisms multiply so fast as to upset the balance in nature. Okay, very very easy to remember this point, that is, if the rabbit ate up all the grass, what happens? There will be no plants or no grass on the soil. So soil is the only main thing to hold tightly the roots of the plants or roots of the grass. So if there is no grass on the land, what happens? When it is heavy rains, what happens? The soil will washed away and the whole area will become infertile, செழிப்பே இல்லாம. Okay, so this is why, so every organism has its enemies in nature. Okay, who is the enemy of the deer? That is herbivore. Of course, lion, tiger, carnivore, right? If tiger didn't eat deer, what happens? The deer will multiply very fast and it will eat up all the plants, tree branches, everything, and there will be no plants and the soil will become infertile and soil will washed away by the rain if it is rains heavily. Did you understood? Next, balance of soil minerals. Okay, plants take up minerals from the soil. They use them to make nutrients. Balance of soil minerals, that is in this paragraph what it says, see, as we are all human beings, we get the minerals from the food what we are eating. So how the plants will get the minerals? From the soil. How the animals will get minerals? From the plants. Like this is only it goes. Okay, so they use them, those minerals, for their growth of their body. Then when plants and animals die, what happens? Microorganisms, it will decompose them. Okay, and they return the minerals to the soil. Without microorganisms and other decomposers like earthworms, so what happens? Again the soil will become infertile. செழிப்பே இல்லாம. It will become infertile and the minerals will washed away. Okay. Next, water cycle. Water cycle. Next topic is water cycle. Water evaporates continually from oceans, rivers, lakes, trees and land. Water vapor rises with hot air and condenses to form clouds when it meets cold air. See, water evaporates continually from the oceans, rivers and lakes. See, we have seen through movies, in Discovery channels and all, oceans, rivers, lakes. Okay, so what happens now? There will not be same amount of water. Each and every day the water will get evaporate. So water vapor rises with hot air and condenses to form clouds when it meets cold air. Okay, so when the droplets of water join up and become heavy, they fall as rain or snow if it is cold. So this is what they are telling, when the water vapor rises with hot air, when the water vapor rises with the hot air, what happens? And condenses to form clouds. So when the clouds become very heavy, what happens? It meets cold air. So when the droplets become heavy, what happens? They fall as a rain. When it is too cold, it forms as a snow. That's what they have said. Some of the rain moistens the soil and seeps underground to form groundwater. So some of the rain, what happens? It will moisten the soil, ஈரமாக்கிடும் soil, and it seeps underground to form, it will go and settle in the underground to form groundwater. So the rest of the flows down into rivers and finally into oceans. So the balanced water, it will flow into the rivers and then into the oceans finally. This continual movement of water from the earth to the air and back is called the water cycle. This is nature's way of maintaining the balance of water. See this continuous movement, okay, water is getting evaporate and making as a forming as a cloud. So when the droplets becomes heavy, it forms as a rain. Okay, again the rain comes and joins in the on the land, so it flows in the river, finally into the ocean. Again the water gets evaporates. This continuous process is called water cycle. Okay, without this the soil would become dry and plants would not get water. Plants use the moisture in the soil and not underground. See, if this is not happening, definitely the land will become very dry, and plants know it will use the moisture of the soil, not the underground water, not the groundwater. Okay, and and all other animals would also not have waters. Even for animals also they will not get